I don't think I've seen worse. Did the 99 Browns, someone go look this up that's not Mitch. Did the 99 Browns go, how many games was it we didn't get over 20 points? 11? Well, it was 11 straight games, right? I don't think I've seen worse offense. I heard the clip, and I'm going, I think Nick is, I disagree with Nick. I think this is the bottom of the barrel, this offense.
I actually had notes on this for their DVOA.
You took notes?
For once, I had their DVOA every terrible Browns year, and 40. It seemed to be getting worse. So every time we thought that it couldn't get worse, it would get worse. And I have to look back and find it. I can't find it. But I do believe this year, statistically, by the advanced metrics, is the worst.
This is quite bad. Quite bad. And we're in the bye week. There's not a lot being said. There's not going to be anything that's said. And, I made my case about that yesterday, and I don't need to belabor it anymore. We'll talk to Mary Cabot about it at 8:20. I didn't like the whole thing about, well, Kevin, ends up being the spokesman. I go, yeah, but when you're having a bad season, I'll just say this, when you end up having a bad season, you end up answering questions or having to try to field questions that really a head coach shouldn't have to field, because the conversation becomes a big picture conversation, because that's the thing that people care about. So eventually, and we were already seeing it, like when you're 2-6, and a couple of weeks ago, you guys aren't even talking about the Dolphins. You guys aren't even talking about the Steelers. I'm like, well, yeah, they made trades. And now you're going to get to, why are we talking about after the Jets game, why are we talking about the Jets? Why are we talking about the Ravens? Why are we talking, like, it's going to be, you're going to shift your focus. Well, those questions are what people care about, and you're going to end up asking the head coach those questions, and he can't field them. He can't talk about big picture stuff. So you end up asking questions that a GM should answer to a head coach. And we've seen that happen many, many times. Even when they do talk during the season, we've seen it happen many, many times in Cleveland. And I just don't think it's the most fair position. But we've said that a million times already. Ross Tucker last week, this is what happens during a season like this. And kind of the whole AFC North is going through it to a degree. This is last week what Ross Tucker said before the Browns took on the New England Patriots.
If the answer is Vrabel, I got to know who the offensive coordinator is. And on some level, if the answer is Stefanski, I got to know who the defensive coordinator is. And I think Stefanski's done a really good job having Jim Schwartz as a D coordinator. I think most teams would tell you, or most owners would rather have Stefanski than Vrabel. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One is Vrabel's personality is not for everybody. And secondly, the concern you have if Vrabel is your head coach typically is that he's not an offensive mind. He's not going to call the offensive plays. So if you have success with him as your head coach, that probably means you're moving the ball, scoring points, probably means your offensive coordinator is going to get a head coaching job elsewhere, which is not what you want.
Now, I understand what he's saying there. It is a good answer. It's not to throw Ross under the bus. However, I have to put that with what he was asked yesterday about everybody in the AFC North being on the hot seat.
I actually do. I think if the Ravens really falter, even when Lamar comes back and don't make the playoff, I think Steve Bisciotti will have some interesting decisions to make. Do I think he'll move on from Harbaugh? Probably not, but I don't think it's 0%. I would say the same for Mike Tomlin. If the Steelers lay an egg the rest of the way and don't make the playoffs, I think that the Rooney family would at least have to consider it. Zach Taylor, I would have said that I thought he had a free pass with Burrow getting hurt, but then when Flacco plays that well and you come out and you lose the next week to the Jets, that's a bad look for Zach Taylor. So I think he's on the hot seat. And then in Cleveland, you guys know I think Stefanski's a good coach. If he's 3-14 last year, and if they go 4-13 this year, definitely on the hot seat.
So I got a guy, and again, it's not to throw Ross Tucker under the bus. I think he's trying to make sense of something that's really nonsensical in so many ways. Because again, we don't know fully what is going on. We can only throw around our own. We can only throw around our own theories, and boy, there's been some wild theories thrown out there, especially about the quarterbacks, which we'll bring up here at around 7:23 this morning. Do you look at it more where, one side helps the other? They have to be thought partners no matter what. Do you think that do you think the NFL, the rest of the NFL, sees this more as a Berry problem or I would say a roster problem or a Stefanski problem?
I think it's absolutely being
the rest of the NFL.
Yeah, they're perceiving this as a roster problem. In fact, I don't even think it's close. Part of it is because Stefanski, who is not, this is going to be, man, people are going to clip this and think that we are absolving one and going after the other. We're not. We've gone after both. We've done it countless times. So, whatever.
Guys.
But they can misconstrue it however they want. But people, every time I put on a national broadcast, Stefanski gets credit for the 2 coach of the years. People don't want to hear that, whatever. But they're the Browns and they made the playoffs. The coach is going to get a lot of credit for that. Especially because, again, it's the Browns, it's Jimmy Haslam. You know how people think of ownership. You know how people think of the situation here. So he gets credit for that. And then I hear people say, well, what is Stefanski supposed to do? Look at the 4 quarterbacks they came to camp with. You have 40-year-old Flacco. We don't have to go over it. We've gone over it 1,000 times. And then the offensive line that is, old and been in flux, and then the worst wide receiver room in the league. Yeah. And then having to play these rookies. And by the way, Berry will get credit for this nice rookie class, but the fact that you have to play these guys and have them be such a huge part of your game plans their rookie year, that's just not normal.
But you don't
that's
have a chance.
That's not a normal setup.
If you had a competent quarterback right now, you would have a better chance. You don't have a chance with these guys. Your quarterback is incompetent, no matter what they want to say. And if you feel that, well, he's a product of the system that he's in or the players he has around him, guess what? That's both Kevin and Andrew's fault. See, this is what I think is what's frustrating most Browns fans here, and rightfully so. As I think a Browns fan looks at it and goes, well, what more evidence do you need on either of this? Because I don't think a Browns fan is out there, a legitimate Browns fan listening to us. There's definitely some people outside Browns fandom, they might listen for whatever reason. I don't think that a legitimate Browns fan listens to us makes a choice between Kevin and Andrew. I think the vast majority, in the 90s%, say, no, it's on both. It's on both. It's on both. There's no way you can't draw something better out of this offense. But there's also not much better that you can draw out of this offense. You can't do much. There's no way you can get so much more where this offense can look different. Guys, go ahead and let Tommy Rees call the plays. If you really want to let Tommy Rees call the plays, go ahead and let him. I don't think he's some wizard. I don't think that he can get much more out of Dylan Gabriel that you're already getting. I don't think you can get much more out of any of these guys you're already getting. Again, you have KT Levison playing. And you have a quarterback that is just not able to see the field because he doesn't have the experience because he's not ready yet. Okay, well, what forced you to put him in before he's not ready yet? Oh, yeah, because you traded away Joe Flacco. And there's so many things that tell me, based on what Mike Tomlin said, which people are coming around on, by the way, based on how Kevin Stefanski's answered questions, there's so many things that tell me he did not want to make that move because he knew that you're taking away a security blanket. So now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you look at it over the next couple of games and Dylan Gabriel, who you're going to throw back out there apparently, Dylan Gabriel still can't catch his breath, still can't see the field and do things. Where do you go? You go to Shedeur? Well, clearly there's a difference in how we think of Shedeur and how they think of Shedeur. And we'll find out who ends up being right because he's going to end up playing. Are you going to put Bailey Zappi out there? That isn't going to get anybody's bull running. Are you going to put Deshaun Watson out there? Well, I don't know. We talk about him as if he's some sort of threat to Browns fans going, you ain't seen nothing yet, so I don't think you want to put him out there. Again, I'm ranting and raving and being angry, and I think all the Browns fans, they have to agree with me going, it's on both. It's on both. You pick the players, you outpick the players, you say your thought partners, doesn't matter. You're not powerless in this situation. I wonder about the power structure. You're not powerless in the situation. One side is not powerless in the situation all of a sudden. I'm tired of looking at Kevin Stefanski as some sort of a victim here. He's not. He's the head coach of the football team. And if he's going to just let all the power go away, well, then that's still got to be on him to some degree. It's still got to be there because that's not how this is supposed to work. So I'm not going to stand idly by and say that one guy is just a victim of all this. No. Your thought partners, you've participated in this. You're part of what the responsibility is. And if things aren't going well, then you're part of the problem of this. And I think Browns fans are pulling their hair out going, what else do you guys need to see? I don't think Browns fans are picking and choosing and saying it's all on Stefanski or it's all on Berry. I think they look and go, I think it's on all of them. I think it's on DiPodesta. I think it's on the guy. I think it's on the people who are supposed to be this triumvirate that's in charge of the football team. That word's going to be used against me later on. That's a big word I don't like to use, but either way.
Yeah, I would just ask before we go to break, does the Joe Flacco going to the Bengals thing, does that let Stefanski off the hook, or does it make it even that much worse?
I think it makes it that much worse. He's looked like he's played good football. And
because
so now it looks like,
if Stefanski was running an offense that had Jamar Chase and had T. Higgins, how different would it look with Flacco? Don't you think it would look a lot better?
I think a lot of fans look at it and say, I think any idiot could run an offense that had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on it. And Chase Brown's done a fine job here so far this season. I think a lot of people look at it that way. But you're telling me you couldn't get anything more out of Joe Flacco than what you've got already? Well, why is that? Well, we didn't give him many reps. Why didn't we give him many reps? Well, because of how we ran the training camp.
Yeah, but hold on.
Then again, who picked the players?
Wait a second.
Who picked the guys to be in the training camp?
What reps did Flacco have with Cincinnati? That was instantly better. And nobody thinks Zach Taylor's a good coach. Come on.
But hold on. Do you need reps if you've been around for 18 years to throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins?
That's what I'm saying.
I think you need
I think that's a point for Stefanski.
Okay, so we're on the same page. Again, that's why it's both their fault.
It is.
It's both their fault.
But you asked me who is the bigger problem, and I think it's Andrew Berry, and I think that's what the NFL thinks too.
You get to do a champion's pose. What did you do? Chat GPT over there?
No. I looked up the EPA per play, which is what is being.
What has happened to you?
It's kind of being accepted by most.
You used to be so half-assed and fun.
Of the football. I would just go yards per game or points per game.
Or used to just not even look it up and go, yeah, I'm right.
And then avoid looking like, well, how many of those points were defensive generated or like a punt return for a touchdown? And that's not the way to do this at all. EPA per play is considered the gold standard, I think. There's DVOA too, that's out there. But I've got all the EPA per play since 1999. And last year was actually the worst.
Okay.
Offensively, they ever were. They're almost tied this year with last year.
Well, now wait, we still have more time.
There's more games. Can it get worse?
Season left.
There you go.
Well, is Shedeur going to help or hurt this?
We will. We'll find out. Hopefully, eventually.
As people said, it couldn't get worse. It couldn't get worse after Joe Flacco. What has it done?
It can, and it always will get worse.
It got worse.
Yeah.
So can it get?
The beatings will continue.
Can everybody
until
get on
morale
record
improves.
right now and establish whether or not? I want everybody on record at the station.
Okay.
I want complete polling done by the entire
Mitch,
station.
get on the microphone.
Please do the polling. I want everybody to submit their blue books by the end of today. So, can it get worse?
Can it or will it?
Right now, they are at negative 0.18 EPA. That is 31st in the NFL.
Who's worse?
Who's worse? The number one overall pick?
Oh, the Jets.
Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, yeah, they scored a bunch of points on Sunday, the Jets did. Okay, never mind.
They are the absolute worst. So, we are at negative 0.18. Last year, we were at negative 0.19. So, it was worse last year by a nose.
How on earth was it worse last year?
So, I ask.
Congratulations, Nick.
Can it get worse than where it is right now?
By a tenth of a point, he's correct.
By Shedeur Sanders, by Deshaun Watson, by Bailey Zappi. Can it get worse?
I'm a very emotional guy. I go by the emotions. It can get worse emotionally. I don't know if statistically it can get worse. But we have another game against the Jets on Sunday. And I think Quentin Williams could actually unhinge his jaw and swallow Dylan Gabriel. Like Smithers when he was Slithers on the Treehouse of Horror and swallowed Mr. Burns. It's one of the greatest scenes of television I've ever seen. Do you think it can get worse? I say yes.
I kind of think it can.
Here you go, Owen.
Yeah.
Mitch.
Sure.
Do you even know the question I asked, Mitch?
Yeah.
Can the offense get worse?
Okay.
Yes, what color uniforms the Browns wore last week?
We can't get a yes or no. I just get a sure.
I'm trying to be positive.
Okay. There we go. There you get that from Mitch. Mr. Positivity there. Reactions coming in, brought to you by Scheib & Jewelers, Cleveland's premier jewelry store. Grass and Bass on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube live for absolutely free. Says, Lima is a coward for thinking Stefanski taking back play calling would actually help. Called you a coward, Tone. Thoughts?
Wait, taking back?
I don't know. Just called you a coward. I thought it was funny that the guy called you a coward.
Were we even talking about the play calling and who should get it. That wasn't the topic. Where did we even talk about the play calling?
I don't know. I think it was during the last segment. I just saw someone call you a coward, and I say I'm putting him to the top of the list.
Move by changing the subject of the thing that he changed first.
Boom.
Way
there
to
you go,
coward.
There you go.
But taking it back, did he give away the play calling this year?
I don't know.
He did not.
Well,
So
he took
where
it back this year. He took it back going into this year.
Yeah, because the guy he let call plays, they also fired.
Yeah, he's not here
It'd be
anymore.
really weird if Ken Dorsey was still calling plays, as he's not a member of the coaching
But he
staff.
took it back.
Did you say that he should give up the play calling to Tommy Rees?
No. I said go right on ahead and give it up to Tommy Rees. I don't think he's going to be some sort of magician, some wizard that's going to change this offense. I don't think that they're very good, and that's why some of this has to go. Half goes to Kevin, half goes to Andrew. If you want to go a little bit of a percentage point one way or the other, fine, go right on ahead. Like Nick brings up to me on Twitter here. We're overlooking the impact, Ken. We're overlooking the impact Watson's contract has made on the makeup of the team. To me, it's clear they budgeted the salary cap on both sides of the ball. What you're seeing now is an offense with 60% of the salary cap, which is 31%, is Watson. No money / picks equals low talent. Boom, he is absolutely right. One hand washes the other. I think you could probably get more out of this offense. You're not going to get Joe Flacco with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but you're still going to be able to get some more out of this offense. You're not going to get Baker Mayfield with Emeka Egbuka and Mike Evans before Mike Evans got banged up. But you could still get something more out of this. But at the same time, who traded Joe? Who wanted to trade Joe?
Yeah, the other thing I would ask,
we don't know these things.
There has been so much speculation, and I've seen it treated as gospel that Kevin Stefanski, he was the one that signed off on Dylan Gabriel. I have run that up plenty of flagpoles. I have not gotten confirmation on that. The afternoon show asked Albert Breer about that, and he's like, no, it was, their thought partners, blah, 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 blah. But he didn't say that Kevin Stefanski, stood on the table and said, get me Dylan Gabriel in the third round.
Well,
where did that report come from? I know there was a report, but I haven't seen that validated anywhere.
So my report came from, I don't want to misattribute it. There was somebody who you and I know very, very well that comes on the station many times. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he said Kevin Stefanski was just around Dylan Gabriel the whole time.
Okay.
So I think we immediately went, okay, he's got to be Kevin's pick. But I'm just saying he may very well be Kevin's pick. I don't know for sure.
Maybe.
Everything's in doubt because we have long memories, and Hugh Jackson was like, you got to trust me on this one. And he didn't want Cody Kessler. Okay, I'll say one thing for the guy. He didn't want Cody Kessler.
That's one good thing that Hugh stood up for an organizational bad move.
He just went out and decided to be the good name about it. Decided to
be fair. To be fair, as I'm trying to run that up the flagpole, who exactly is embracing the Dylan Gabriel selection? So it wouldn't surprise me if people are like, no, it wasn't me. It wasn't me at all.
It's true.
After they saw him play in NFL games, because in the end, nobody knows until they play. You can't truly evaluate processing. What you can evaluate are limitations, like can he see in the pocket? And that to me surprises. It surprises me. Remember when people said, well, he's been short his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been short their whole life and they can't make the jump to the NFL.
It's just not even that. Like, hey, man, you might be able to process it on a whiteboard, and you might be able to process it when you play at Oklahoma and you play at Oregon and when you play it at UCF. It's just a different story here, and the processing's different, and you're a third-round pick, which we could even say, well, he was overdrafted. Okay, even if he was overdrafted, still a third-round pick is not expected to process within the first month of the season as a starter. But because of the way my offense went with Joe, I had to see something different. I just didn't want to trade Joe. So here we are. And right now, he's not in a great position. He's put in a bad spot. His offensive line is rough. I wanted to make the change, and right now I'm ready to make another change. Because I full-on believe that a guy who's a career backup, and I'll say this, a guy that's a career backup can come back into the season. If you were to make the move to Shedeur, and Shedeur was either to, one, get hurt, or B, suck up the room, you could bring a career backup back in as a backup and have him play for a few games again. Like, I don't think the door's just closed on Dylan Gabriel ever playing in the NFL once Shedeur plays, because I forecast Dylan Gabriel being a career backup. That's what they do.
Now, to be fair, too, to Dylan for the first time, you don't just close your mind on a guy 4 games in. Like, you don't just say he can never get better.
We have get better. I hope he can get better than this.
Yeah, because, we've always been saying, well, now teams have tape on him. Well, of course, he's going to also kind of learn the league a little bit.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You could always bring him back. I don't think it's over, and he needs a change of scenery after this. Yes.
But what are, for lack of a better word, what are his shortcomings right now? It's his size, right?
He's not overcoming that.
I don't think it's just that. I'm sorry. I think if the guy was 6'10", I think that he would still have problems.
He'd still have thrown it into the flats in the end zone, and he would have seen that no one was standing over there?
But you
think he wouldn't have chunked a ball 60 yards into the opposing team's hands?
I think, A, his offense isn't complete. I think, B, that frustrates him because that offense isn't complete. I think that the game speeds up on him because he feels the walls are closing in on him. Maybe you could say it because of size, but I don't think he has very great protection. He has to get rid of the ball quickly. He can't get wide receivers open. These guys do not get open. I'm watching Isaiah Bond, as Lima illustrates, give up on routes. Jerry Jeudy's just out there for his own cardio. That's all he's doing on Sundays, and that's not even a knock on Jerry Jeudy.
He might be running really good routes, but he's certainly not going to get the ball thrown at him.
What I'm seeing right now is a quarterback that if he were 6'5",
are they telling him not to throw it to him? Because to me, it's a thing that Dylan can't see him.
That could be.
It very well could be. It doesn't.
You just listed off a bunch of stuff.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Okay, no, without a doubt. I don't want to blame everything though on his height. I don't want to blame everything on it. Now, I'm sensitive to it because I think some other guy, and this isn't your fault, you haven't done this, some other guys have taken some really nasty shots about his height. Like some very weird things. You haven't done that. But because I look at it and go, I think he's 6'5", 6. I think if he were 6'5", 6'6", he's still playing like a guy who maybe you'd have a little bit more confidence if he were a bigger guy. Fair. But I still think he's a guy
I think he's got the maximum amount of confidence that a 5'9" or 5'10" or 5'11", whatever we're saying, can have. I don't think he can see anybody.
I don't know, man. Doug Flutie played with a lot more confidence than him.
Doug Flutie played in a different era, too.
Yeah, you did. 216-474-0092. Alvis in Cleveland, you're first up on the Fan. Yellow.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm back.
Congratulations. Hello. Go right on ahead, Alvis.
I'll let him laugh at that again.
Hey, I just want to say one thing. I believe that Kevin Stefanski's offense is hindering a lot of these quarterbacks. Now, with Dylan Gabriel, he's a little guy, so he really can't see. That's why we can't take them shots down the field. And he's Kevin Stefanski's guy because he's going to stick to the game plan. Like I said yesterday, he hasn't came to the line one time and changed the play. So basically, he's really dooming himself. Because if you see something else, even though the play is called for this, but if you come to the line like any other quarterback would do and see a DB cheating on one of your DB or your safety come up or cheating, what's going to be on the quarterback's mind? They're going to audible. He hasn't audible not one time. With Shador, we don't know if he's going to audible or not, but I do know this. He'll be able to make them throws downfield. He'll be able to see them guys downfield and get the ball to them accurately. So, I mean, it's just he is in a no-win situation, you ask me, because, like I say, the offense is not opening up for him, and he really can't see. And he can only go to one side because he can't throw. He can go left, but he can't go right and throw back across.
Well, that actually hurts as well, Elvis. Thank you for the call, because it doesn't just half up the field, it quarters up the field.